Gabriel Magalhaes has signed a new deal with Arsenal, everyone. This is good news. I know we're watching Liverpool get Frimpong announced, Kirkes, Wirtz, these are all deals they're working on. We saw what Ryan Shirky did just the other day. Man City obviously bringing him in. Nori's been signed. There's a third player, I can't remember. Oh, Reinders, they've agreed a deal for. And I get it, we're watching all that. And at the pace at which they're doing things, Man United have announced Cunha, they're trying to get Mbemo. Chelsea have just announced Liam Delap. I understand all of those things are making us look at those clubs and going, we're not operating as quickly as them. But it doesn't mean that Arsenal in their own right aren't moving fairly swiftly. It's just not as quick as others. Let me give you my stance on this. I mean, no doubt I have to repeat myself across the Goonerverse and Goonerverse 2. But just give my stance on this very, very quickly. And hopefully only for the once. For me, whether you do it today or the day before pre-season starts, that window, any time in which you've got business done in that, for me, you've done it quickly. I want the players there on pre-season ready to play. And if every player that we want to sign is in by the time pre-season comes around, I don't think that'll be the case, by the way. But if they are, or the majority are, or the crucial signings are, I will say we've had a very, very fast start to the window. Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, and Jurriën Timber we reflect on as a window in which we did things very quickly. I don't think any of them were announced till July, maybe Havertz at the end of June. So all this to say, I'm not trying to bang the patience drum. I think Arsenal fans have been patient for 20 years. I understand the frustrations. And maybe being on holiday, it's easy for me to sit just here quite comfortably and say, relax, take your time. It's all fine. But I do think there's still a window of time for Arsenal to get business done. And while we're watching our rivals, yes, get on with things quickly. I think if you're going to be annoyed about anything, is why we're not in the conversation with Florian Wirtz and Ryan Shirky. I think that's where the actual anger should be, not maybe about the timings in which we're doing things. But anyway, I say all that because I do believe Arsenal, in another way, are getting on with things quite quickly. Martin Zubimendi was a done deal in January. That's a really good sign, and we saw what he was doing for Spain. Loads of reports came out from ITKs I trust, like Team News and Ticks, Sam C of the United Stand, that Bukayo Saka was signing a new deal. We know David Ornstein's confirmed that William Saliba is in talks over a new deal. We know that Arsenal are sort of well into the planning for a Sesko or a Gyökeres. I will give them till pre-season starts to have that deal signed and delivered. I don't think that needs to be done in the next week or two. I'd rather they get that right. We know that there's talks and understandings going on with Rodrigo. And the big thing is now Gabriel has signed a new deal too. Again, I'm not sort of trying to tell you, well, Arsenal are operating super quickly, we should all be happy. I'm not trying to tell you that. But I'm trying to say that I don't think just because others are moving much quicker, Arsenal necessarily do anything wrong with the pace at which they're going with right now. But that can change very, very, very quickly for me if Arsenal do dither like we have done in loads of previous windows. Now, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent there because I know that's kind of going to be at the forefront of people's minds. But let's talk about Gabriel signing a new deal because this was something that Berta needed to get done. There has been interest from clubs in the Saudi Pro League. There has been interest from Real Madrid a couple of years ago. And this is one of the best centre-backs in the world. I really, really believe that. I believe Gabriel Magalhaes is one of the best players in the world in his position. I think in terms of left-footed centre-backs, you'll struggle to pit many up against him. And he has signed on, and I'm delighted. This is what he had to say as he arrived. He said, I've arrived here as a young player almost 5 years ago, and I'm so happy and I've learned a lot. I'm so proud of myself. It's an amazing journey. I'm so happy to continue it. I hope I win some trophies with this club because I love this club and my family loves the club too. Arsenal are an amazing club. I'm so proud to sign a new contract. I love it here. I love the supporters, my teammates, the stadium. I'm so proud and thank you for all the support. We continue together for the future. One of the first people to really believe in the Arteta project to come to Arsenal when he did. Man United were looking at him. Remember, they were in a much better state at the time. PSG were a club that were looking to sign him, and PSG just as attractive then as they are today. And he chose to come to Arsenal. Whether he chose him or we put the better offer, I don't know what it is. But the point is he chose to come to Arsenal. And he's got better year after year after year. Now, what I'm trying to do is I scroll through the Arsenal websites just to see how long that contract is that he's signed. But I think we can safely assume it's 4 years minimum. Let me just have a quick look on X because that's quite crucial information. 4 years means that in 2 years we're back having this conversation again. Yeah, 4 year, you're signing new 4 year contracts. Yeah, in 2 years' time, this becomes a conversation again. But you know what? Like, I think a lot of players are in a situation where they're like, win now, and in 2 years, 3 years, I mean, what will Gabriel be? 28, 29 by the time that comes around? I could see why, he'd be thinking, right, is there sort of another move for me? But anyway, the point is he's committed, and that's great. And it sets the tone for the Sakas, for the Salibas. Declan Rice is 2 years into his contract already. I mean, I don't know, I think he might have signed a 5 year deal, but they'll be wanting to offer him a new deal at some point. It sets the tone for players that we're hopefully bringing in. I mean, if we want a Rodrigo, there's a Brazil teammate of his. And these little things can be important, but what's most important is that one of the best defenders in the world has committed his future to Arsenal. I've been a huge, huge, huge fan. And I remember Leicester away in a 2-0 win. Do you remember wearing that kind of light yellow kit? Smith Rowe scored. I think Gabby actually scored from a Bukayo Saka cross into the box. It was the year we were starting to actually become a half-decent team, and we were competing for Champions League football that year. I remember that was the year I went, Gabriel's a special defender. I think this guy is one of the best defenders in the league. And they ran with that as the thumbnail on AFTV, that quoted me saying he's one of the best defenders in the league. And look, I get a lot of stuff wrong, like, Declan Rice in the 6, actually he's brilliant in the 8, and plenty of other things I've got wrong. Kai Havertz, if he could have an impact, all these things. One thing I didn't get wrong was seeing the potential that Gabriel had, and I'll give myself some credit for it. But to be fair, I don't think it's anything that clever. I think all of you watching, anyone who's an Arsenal fan, watching those kind of early Gabriel performances thought, there's a real player here, and he needed to learn and mature. But my word, like, what a defender we have now. I'm so happy that he's signing on at the club. And again, just to go back to what I was saying at the start of this video, I'm not, and please, because I know a lot of you get mad at me in the comments, I know you do, but just hear me out. I'm not trying to tell you to be happy with the club. I'm not trying to con you into thinking Arsenal are moving really, really quickly. I'm not trying to just make out that like everything behind the scenes works perfectly at the club, because it doesn't. But I think it's really important that for the critique to really hit, that we do it when it really matters, and when there's real kind of evidence of that. Arsenal not having a signing in by the 6th of June is not a sign of slow business or slow operations. Yeah, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, Man City have got off to a lightning start. They really have. 2 of those clubs are at the Club World Cup. Does that play a part? Man United have had a horrific campaign. I'm sure there's a degree of wanting to appease fans in that sense. Liverpool, what excuse have I got? Absolutely none. They're just brilliant operators, so fair play to them. But I do, like I said, Zubimendi through the door. One of our key players signed a new deal. Contracts are moving ahead. I've mentioned Zubimendi. We know that things are going on with Sesko and Rodrigo. We were in talks with Dean Howson. Kepa's now emerged as someone that we're in talks with as well. And apparently, according to Gunnerblog I saw, he's confirmed a report that I didn't bother covering on yesterday's update, because I just thought, I'm not sure how much there is in it. But in Greece, they were saying that Arsenal are looking at, Konstantinos Karetsas, the 17-year-old prodigy. Think Fabio Vieira, can play on the right, can play in the 8, can play in the 10. Left-footed, kind of creative type. But he'd cost about 30 to 40 million euros. Arsenal have also just hired this new scout from Italy, Tognozzi. So things are happening. I know no one's holding a shirt right now, but things are happening, and I think we should be, I don't know, I think we should be, I don't like saying patient, because we've been so patient as a fan base, but I think we've still got a few more weeks of waiting and seeing what happens. But I'll turn very quickly. If Arsenal are, by the start of July, as everyone's coming back for pre-season, if Arsenal is still really lagging behind in business, it then becomes a real problem, and a sign that the club just, in its DNA, are ditherers in a market who don't know how to properly tackle a transfer window. But let's see. I'm not quite there yet. I'm delighted Gabriel signed a new deal. Huge goals, whether it be against Man United, at the Etihad, at Anfield, at Tottenham, at Chelsea, and a player who stands up to the big occasion. And I think if we'd had him for the Champions League run-in, though Kivior was great, how much would that have given us, even from set piece threat and things like that? So delighted to sign a new deal, and I think he's sounding optimistic on his injury too. So hopefully we have him for the start of the campaign. All right, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Catch you in a bit, and yeah, congrats to Gabriel. He deserves a new deal.